Howdy.
What's up, friends?
I'm tired.
Yeah, same. But this episode's a fun one.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on your definition of fun,
Well,
but
yeah, it's interesting.
yeah.
I got this idea from another podcast. What?
Someone was under my foot,
Oh,
but like under the blanket under my chair.
oh.
I think it was Willow. Anyway,
We're doing last meals of death row inmates.
yeah.
So, get excited. This would be cool if we had like a visual aspect and had the time and funds to be able to make these,
Yeah.
which is what they did on this other podcast. But they are also rich people.
Yeah.
It was 2 bears, 1 cave.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, you want to start or you want me to start?
Okay. I'll let you start.
Okay. First one I got is John Wayne Gacy.
Right.
So I'll kind of give a brief description
Is
of...
this, are you using 9news.com?
No.
Oh, okay. He's the first one on here, too.
No, I mean, that might be one of my links. Oh, no,
Okay.
one of them's a ranker. Heck yeah, look at me with a ranker list.
Oh, yeah, brother.
No.
Okay.
Anyway, he was put to death in Illinois by lethal injection at the age of 52. He was sentenced to death for rape and 33 counts of murder. It is noted, prior to being convicted, he was the manager of 3 different KFC restaurants. So his last meal, he requested 12 fried shrimp, a bucket of original recipe KFC, French fries, and a pound of strawberries.
And a Diet Coke. Don't forget about that.
And it's not on here.
It's on this one. They didn't forget about the Diet Coke.
Oh.
That is... He also volunteered as a clown, too.
Yeah.
So, that was that. Philip Hancock. Oklahoma executed 59-year-old death row inmate Philip Hancock, who was sentenced to death for the 2001 double murder of Robert Jett and James Lynch, officials said. Hancock had claimed the killings were done in self-defense. But before his death, Hancock had one simple request for his final meal, but the article doesn't tell me what it was.
Nice.
That's great. This is not... Oh, he requested fried chicken with no sides. He was pronounced dead at 11:29 a.m. on Thursday, local time, the State Department of Corrections said. Cool.
Timothy McVeigh, American terrorist behind the Oklahoma City bombing. He was put to death in Indiana by lethal injection at the age of 33. 168 counts of murder. His last meal was requested as 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Brother, listen, I love mint chocolate. Like,
Ew.
I love it. I do not like mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Ew.
Maybe if it were like chocolate ice cream with mint pieces, but not mint ice cream.
I'd rather be waterboarded.
That's a little extreme.
I don't like mint and chocolate together, and I especially don't like mint flavored ice cream.
I do not like mint flavored ice cream.
Anthony Sanchez was executed by lethal injection for the 1996 murder of 21-year-old Julie Buskin, who was bound, raped, and shot in the head near Lake Stanley Draper in far southeastern Oklahoma City on December 20th of 1996. The murder went, or no, it said later that year, December 20th of that year. It had to have been 1995. The murder went unsolved for years until new DNA evidence matched Sanchez, who was serving time for burglary. For his last meal, Sanchez asked for chicken fried steak, fried okra, mashed potatoes and gravy, a roll, sweet iced tea, and apple pie with vanilla ice cream. Sanchez, who always maintained he was innocent, was put to death by lethal injection. I mean, I don't think the DNA evidence does not lie.
Right. Ricky Ray Rector. He was put to death in Arkansas by lethal injection at the age of 42, sentenced to death for 2 counts of murder. His last meal, mentally incapacitated during his time on death row, his defense team argued. He requested steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, and pecan pie. He left the pecan pie behind, though, telling the guard that he was saving it for later.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have been. He shouldn't have been put down then. He didn't know he wasn't coming back. Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not good. See, I think that's one of the reasons why I tend to lean more towards no death penalty sometimes.
I saw something the other day that they're talking about a more quote-unquote humane way of death penalty, and it's literally like ripping their head off.
Oh.
No, it's like a machine that like literally
I don't feel like that's humane.
Rips the head off.
Listen.
That way it's quick, you don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean, at that point, just bring back the guillotine.
Right.
Anyway. David Earl Miller, Tennessee's longest waiting death row inmate, was a 22-year-old drifter living with a church pastor when he brutally murdered 23-year-old Lee Standifer in 1981. The young woman met Miller for a drink before they went back to the pastor's house, and Miller smashed her skull with a fire poker and repeatedly stabbed her. Then at the time of his execution, he was 61 years old and requested fried chicken as his final meal.
Fried chicken's a very popular choice.
He had successfully appealed against death by lethal injection and instead faced the electric chair. His last words were, "It beats being on death row."
Okay. Steven Anderson, put to death in California by lethal injection at the age of 49. Sentenced to death for burglary, assault, 7 counts of murder, and escaping from prison. He requested 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, a pint of cottage cheese, a hominy corn mixture, peach pie, chocolate chip ice cream, and radishes. That's an interesting combination there.
That's unhinged.
Yeah. I'd hate to think that my final meal was a grilled cheese sandwich.
I don't know. It depends on the grilled cheese.
I'm not a big grilled cheese person.
I love a grilled cheese sandwich. Honestly, I'd be happy if it was just noodles, marinara sauce, and some garlic bread.
I don't know what I would ask for my last meal. I really don't.
I really don't either.
And what's going to sound weird, because I'm a big lady, there's not any food in the entire world that I'd be like,
maybe that's why they let them. Maybe that's why they let them sit on death row so long. It's so they can think up what they want to have for their last meal.
That's messed up.
I don't know. The state's paying for them to be there. Why else would they do it? Because I mean, I couldn't come up with that on the fly.
No,
it's not like they're sentenced to it and then immediately they take them back out.
Right.
They take them out back. Friedrich Heinrich Karl Harman, also known as Fritz, became known as the Butcher of Hanover after he sexually assaulted, murdered, and mutilated at least 24 boys and young men in Germany in the wake of World War I. In accordance with German tradition, Harman was not told of his scheduled execution until the night before. In lieu of a last meal, he was granted an expensive cigar and a cup of Brazilian coffee, and he was beheaded by guillotine.
Nice. Ronnie Lee Gardner, put to death in Utah by firing squad at the age of 49, sentenced to death for burglary, robbery, and 2 counts of murder. He requested steak, a lobster tail, apple pie, vanilla ice cream, and to eat it all while watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
A nerd.
Yeah. By firing squad. I wonder when that happened. Because that's not something.
I heard we're bringing that back.
Hey.
They're given the option of lethal injection or firing squad.
What would you choose?
I don't know. Let me do it myself.
Ronnie Lee Gardner. 2010.
See? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. Peter Curtin was nicknamed the Vampire of Dusseldorf for a series of gruesome murders committed in the German city in 1929. Before his scheduled execution by guillotine 2 years later, Curtin was granted a last meal of Wiener Schnitzel, fried potatoes, and a bottle of white wine. He asked for seconds, and his request was granted.
Ted Bundy, in case you didn't already know, was put to death in Florida by electric chair at the age of 43, sentenced to death for rape, necrophilia, prison escape, and more than 35 counts of murder. He declined a special meal, but he was given a traditional last meal: steak cooked medium rare, eggs over easy, hash browns, toast with butter and jelly, milk, and juice.
Yeah. Asshole. I want one of those like Fry Bundy fry shirts that somebody had made, and people outside of the prison when he was being executed were wearing them.
Oh, I saw a thing. Is it next month that the woman that killed Selena is getting released?
Is she getting released?
Yeah.
Or is she just up for her parole hearing?
I think she's getting released. I could be wrong.
She's gonna get killed.
I could be wrong. Here, I'm gonna Google it while you're going on your next one.
Yolanda Sandoval was her name. Eileen Wuornos killed 7 men while working as a prostitute in Florida in 1989 and 1990. She ultimately declined a last meal and instead asked for a cup of black coffee. And her last words reflected an unbalanced mental state. She said, "Yes, I would like to say I'm sailing with the rock and I'll be back, like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th, like the movie," she said. "Big mother ship and all, I'll be back, I'll be back."
All right. So she's up for parole on March 30th.
I don't think she'll get it. It's not her first parole hearing, I don't think, but I don't think she'll get it. And if she does get it,
she won't make it long.
She won't make it long.
People will be waiting outside the doors.
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
if I had the opportunity to square up with Yolanda, I would.
That's what's been tickling my nose. There's literally a hair that is wrapped around my nose ring.
Oh, hell.
I've been sitting here like something is tickling. You're probably thinking I'm picking my nose.
No.
But like something has been tickling my nose all night. All right. Alan Lee Tiny Davis was put to death in Florida by electric chair at the age of 54. He was sentenced to death for robbery and 3 counts of murder. For his last meal, he requested lobster tail, fried potatoes, half a pound of fried shrimp, 6 ounces of fried clams, half a loaf of garlic bread, and 32 ounces of A&W root beer. Listen, I don't even drink root beer, but to me, from what I'm understanding, Barg's is the superior.
Yeah, I think so. A&W's all right.
I don't even like root beer.
I always gravitate towards, I'll grab, my Barg's first.
I feel like this hair is like literally through the hole and I can't get it.
Probably. Richard Cooey. In 1986, 19-year-old Richard Cooey raped, stabbed, and tortured 2 college students in Akron, Ohio. It took nearly 20 years for Cooey to be put to death, with the killer famously arguing that the article says 125 kilograms, that is 275 pounds, he was too obese to be executed. And his last meal reflected his appetite. He asked for a T-bone steak, onion rings, french fries, 4 fried eggs, and buttered toast, hash browns, a bucket of Rocky Road ice cream, Bear Claw pastries, and a bottle of Mountain Dew. It took him until midnight to finish eating his last meal, and he was executed the next morning.
Okay.
That's a lot of food.
Right. I'm going to skip through some of these. Sorry. Bear with me. Okay, Ronnie Threadgill was put to death in Texas by lethal injection at the age of 40. He was sentenced to death for murder. His last meal that he requested was baked chicken, mashed potatoes with country gravy, vegetables, sweet peas, bread, tea, water, and punch. However, Texas abolished the last meal choice in 2011, so Threadgill was just given the same meal as everyone else in his unit.
Aww. It does kind of suck. Yeah. White supremacist Lawrence Brewer and two others offered local African-American man James Byrd Jr. a lift home in the town of Jasper, Texas. They beat Byrd and chained him by the ankles to the back of a ute, dragging him for about 5 kilometers until he was decapitated. Brewer requested and was granted a lavish last meal, 2 fried chicken fried steaks and gravy, a triple meat bacon cheeseburger, a cheese omelet, a bowl of fried okra, a pound of barbecued meat, half a loaf of white bread, 3 fajitas, a meatloafer's pizza, 3 root beers, a bucket of ice cream, and a slab of peanut butter fudge.
Good God.
When the meal arrived, Brewer said he wasn't hungry and didn't eat any of it.
Okay.
Based on this, the state of Texas decided to stop granting last meal requests.
Oh, sister.
You okay, Mara?
Stephen Woods executed in 2011 for the murder of a young couple. Did you just do this one? No.
Mm-mm.
His last meal was, get this, ready?
Mm-hmm.
2 pounds of bacon, a large 4 meat pizza, 4 fried chicken breasts, 2 drinks, each of Mountain Dew, Pepsi, root beer, and sweet tea, 2 pints of ice cream, 5 chicken fried steaks, 2 hamburgers with bacon, fries, and a dozen garlic breadsticks with marinara on the side.
Damn. In 1981, Ricky Ray Rector shot 3 people at a restaurant in Arkansas.
I did this one.
Did you?
Yeah.
I did not.
I'm pretty sure it was on my first list.
I don't know. He shot himself, or he tried to commit suicide.
I did that one.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'll skip it.
Skip that one.
In 1960, Victor Figueroa? Figueroa? Anyway, he kidnapped, I don't care, he's a killer. He kidnapped an Iowa doctor he had never met named Edward Bartles and shot him in a cornfield in Illinois. He was hanged 3 years later in front of a crowd that included politician John Ely, who was so disturbed by the execution that he successfully legislated to ban the death penalty in Iowa. His last meal was simple and bizarre, a single olive with the pit still in it. His hope was that an olive tree would sprout from his grave as a symbol of peace.
Cute.
He looks like a douchebag.
This one made me rethink my previous statement. Marion Albert Pruitt, executed in 1999. He killed Bobby Jean Robertson, a convenience store clerk in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and 4 other people. His last meal was a Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza. First of all, okay. Because now that we don't have easy accessibility to a Pizza Hut,
yeah,
I do be missing a stuffed crust pizza. 4 Burger King Whoppers, miss me. French fries, fried eggplant, fried squash, fried okra, a whole pecan pie, and 3 2-liter Pepsi bottles. Remarkably, he originally considered ordering a roast duck.
Did you do Scotty Morrow?
I don't think so.
Scotty Morrow was executed by lethal injection in Georgia on May 2nd, 2019 for the murders of his ex-partner Barbara Ann Young and her friend Tanya Rochelle Woods on December 29th, 1994. He requested a huge last meal of a hamburger with mayonnaise, 2 chicken and waffle meals, a pint of butter pecan ice cream, a bag of buttered popcorn, 2 all-beef hot dogs, a large lemonade, and the Georgia Department of Corrections said. I think this really is very telling of like, you know you're going to die, so let's just be greedy as hell.
Right. Dennis Bagwell, executed in 2005. He invaded the Texas home of Ronald Boone, who returned home to find the bodies of his wife, Leona McBee, and his daughter, Libby Best, and his granddaughters, Reva Best and Tassie Boone. According to reports, McBee and Tassie had been beaten and strangled, necks broken, and Tassie was raped. Libby was shot in the head, and Reva's skull was crushed with a hammer and a metal exercise bar. His last meal was steak, fried chicken, barbecue ribs, fries, onion rings, bacon, a dozen scrambled eggs with onions, fried taters with onions, sliced tomatoes, a salad with ranch dressing, 2 hamburgers with everything, peach pie, milk and coffee, and iced tea with real sugar.
Hold on, I'm out of lists. I'm out of things we haven't talked about.
Take some of my links. I'm only on the first 2. Because I had like 5. Yeah. You want me to go on to my next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thomas J. Grasso, executed in 1995. He strangled an elderly woman using her own Christmas lights, stole $8 from her purse, $4 from around the house, and sold her television for $125, and then murdered an elderly male and stole his Social Security check. His last meal was 2 dozen steamed mussels, 2 dozen steamed clams, a double cheeseburger from Burger King, half dozen barbecue spare ribs, 2 strawberry milkshakes, half of a pumpkin pie with whipped cream with diced strawberries, and a 16-ounce can of spaghetti with meatballs served at room temperature. In a final statement to the press an hour before his execution, he said, "I did not get my SpaghettiOs. I got canned spaghetti. I want the press to know this."
That sounds like something I would say.
But you specifically want the ones from Trader Joe's.
No, they don't make those anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. They're the best ones, but Ferdinando, Nicola Sacco, and Bartolomeo Vanzetti were put to death in Massachusetts by electric chair at the ages of 36 and 39, respectively. They were sentenced to death on 2 counts of murder, and for their last meals, Sacco and Vanzetti requested soup, tea, meat, and toast. In 1977, the governor of Massachusetts issued a statement saying that they had been unfairly tried and convicted, and the case has been open ever since. That sucks.
Lawrence Russell Brewer, executed in 2011 for the murder of James Byrd. He and 2 of his white supremacist friends beat him severely, urinated on him, and chained him by his ankles to their pickup truck before dragging him for 3 miles while he was fully conscious. A curb finally killed him and severed his arm. Brewer ruined the whole last meal thing for other inmates in Texas. Oh, I guess you did this one. No, it wasn't Lawrence Russell Brewer that you did.
Yeah.
That. Was it? Okay, my bad. Yep, never mind. Okay, so Robert Dale Conklin, in 2005, while on parole for armed robbery, he killed a man by sticking a screwdriver in his ear and twisting it around, and then dissected the body and put select parts of it down the garbage disposal. His last meal was a filet mignon wrapped in bacon, deveined shrimp, sauteed in garlic butter with lemon, a baked potato with butter, sour cream chives, and real bacon bits, corn on the cob, asparagus with hollandaise sauce, French bread with butter, goat cheese, cantaloupe, apple pie with vanilla bean ice cream, and an iced tea.
Okay, so I'm on the Arizona Department of Corrections website. William Waratzik. Let's see. It looks like Linda Louise Leslie was a 36-year-old woman who, because of Huntington's had the mental capacity of a 15-year-old. She lived in a small sleeping room she rented from him in Pinal County. On March 6, 1980, at approximately 2:30 a.m., he broke into this bedroom, strangled, stabbed, and beat her to death, and robbed her of approximately $107. He then set his shed on fire. His last meal was a 16-ounce top sirloin steak, medium rare, French fries, onion rings, 1 dozen deep-fried butterfly shrimp, 1 whole cherry cheesecake, 1 case of Pepsi Cola, and 1 pot of coffee. He was executed in 1997.
This one's a weird one. Like, just his request.
Mm-hmm.
It's an odd combo. John Martin Scripps, executed in 1996, dubbed the tourist from hell by British tabloids because he posed as a tourist. He went on a spree, murdering 3 tourists, Gerard Lowe in Singapore, and Sheelan and Darren Damod in Thailand, with another 3 unconfirmed victims. He cut up all the victims' bodies using butchery skills that he had acquired in prison before disposing them. His last meal, pizza and hot chocolate.
Robert, this is also from I'm just going to go down this little list that Arizona Department of Corrections has graciously offered me. Robert Moorman, Moorman, not,
Yeah.
Anyway, while serving a sentence of 9 years to life at the Arizona State Prison in Florence, Moorman was given a 72-hour compassionate furlough to visit with his mother. The two stayed at the Blue Mist Motel in Florence. On January 13th, 1984, Moorman bound and gagged his mother and then strangled and stabbed her. Moorman chopped the body into parts and disposed of them in the dumpsters throughout Florence. His last meal request was 1 double hamburger, which consisted of 2 quarter-pound patties with 2 slices onion, 3 leaves lettuce, 3 slices tomato, prepared medium. He had a bun, French fries with 4 ounces of ketchup, 2 to 3 ounce ground beef burritos, and 2 to 14 ounce containers of Rocky Road ice cream, and he had 3 RC colas.
So one of these links that I have is a BBC thing, and it shows pictures of what they asked for, but I can't really tell what a lot of it is, like, to be sure to tell you. But it includes their last statement, and some of these are terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Terrifying. Trying to find one that I can take, because it doesn't give me a list of what he asked of.
Every time you go in there, you come back with the dirtiest little face.
What in the what? Okay. Did you do, because I know you did one, Peter Kürten from Germany?
I don't know if I did a Peter.
Okay. He was dubbed the Vampire of Dusseldorf?
Oh, yeah, no, I did him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Okay. Gary Gilmore was allowed 3 shots of Jack Daniel's whiskey with his hamburger, baked potato, hard-boiled egg, and coffee prior to his execution in 1977.
Randy Greenawalt. So on July 30th, 1978, Greenawalt and Gary Tyson escaped from Arizona State Prison with the help of Gary's sons, Ricky, Ray, and Donnie. The next night, the group kidnapped and killed John and Donelda Lyons, their 2-year-old son Christopher, and their teenage niece Teresa Tyson in Yuma County. They then drove north, changing cars several times, and apparently murdered a newlywed couple, James and Margene Judge, in Colorado. They then turned south again, driving the Judge's van. On August 11th, 1978, they were able to run a roadblock that the authorities had established in Pinal County. At the next roadblock, when the van would not stop, the authorities fired on it, killing Donnie Tyson. The authorities captured Greenawalt and Ricky and Raymond Tyson, but Gary Tyson was able to escape into the desert. He was found dead in the desert several days later. But Randy's final meal was a cheeseburger, fries, and coffee with milk.
So on this one, although details remain unconfirmed, according to some sources, former Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein was given permission to eat his favorite meal before his death in 2006, which is boiled chicken and rice paired with several cups of hot water laced with honey.
Jose Sija was executed in 1998. On Sunday, June 30th, 1974, Sija went to the home of Randy and Linda Leon in Phoenix, intending to steal a large shipment of marijuana. Upon entry, Sija shot Linda, who apparently resisted him, twice in the chest, and then dragged her body from the living room to the bedroom, where he shot her at least 4 more times in the head at close range. When Randy arrived home, Sija shot him 4 times with his own gun, which Sija had removed from the drawer in the house. He loaded a suitcase he had brought with him with 12 kilos of marijuana. He removed the receiver from the phone and turned on the TV to create the appearance that someone was home. He later attended the funeral of the victims, helped move furniture, and offered to help the police find the murderer.
Oh.
And his last meal was 2 red chili beef burritos, 2 cans Coke Classic, and 1 slice of cherry pie. That's foul.
Right. In an act of selflessness, Tennessee inmate Philip Workman asked that a vegetarian pizza be distributed to any homeless person in Nashville. His 2007 request was denied by prison officials, but some local groups decided to fulfill his wishes and donated pizzas to homeless shelters.
Oh, I like the idea of that. I'm trying to look for some that don't have such long-winded stories. Robert Vickers, I think I recognize this name. On March 4th, 1982, Vickers was an inmate on death row at the state of Arizona in Florence as a result of killing Frank Ponacino. At around 6:30 p.m., Vickers was out of his cell allegedly doing cleanup chores, but instead he went to the cell of Bustard Halsinger, another death row inmate. Vickers was upset over an earlier remark Halsinger had made about Vickers' niece. Vickers doused Halsinger and his cell with some Vitalis he had been saving, and then threw burning toilet paper on Halsinger, setting him ablaze. Halsinger died as a result of tracheobronchial burns suffered in the resulting flash fire. And his final meal was green chili burros, which are burritos with barbecued steak, French fries and ketchup, vanilla ice cream, cream soda, and a cigarette. I think that would be my last meal, is a cigarette.
I could see it.
I mean, if I'm gonna, bite the big one, I'm gonna have a cigarette.
1950 spree killer Charles Starkweather declined an offer of steak for his final meal, but opted for cold cuts instead. Get Get some cold cuts.
Get some cold cuts. Richard Bible. On June 6, 1988, around 10:30 a.m., 9-year-old Jennifer Wilson was riding her bike on a Forest Service road in Flagstaff. Bible rode by in a truck, forced her off her bike, and abducted her. He took Jennifer to a hill near his home where he sexually assaulted her. He then killed her, hitting her in the face and head with a blunt instrument. Bible concealed the body and left the area. He was arrested later that day, and Jennifer's body was not found until June 25th, 1988. His last meal, he was executed in 2011. His last meal was four fried eggs over easy with melted cheese on top, of country gravy with sausage, hash browns, 7 biscuits with grape jelly, and peanut butter, 20-ounce bottle of chocolate milk.
You know, I think I could do breakfast as my last meal.
Yeah, I'd want
good country breakfast bread.
But I want flaky biscuits. I like flaky biscuits.
Delbert Teague did not ask for a final meal on the day of his execution in Texas of 1998. However, at the request of his mother, he decided to have a hamburger. I can imagine his mom being like, "You can't go to hell on an empty stomach."
Thomas West was executed in 2011. A lot of Arizona inmates sitting there for a while. So on June 26, 1987, West and some friends went to Don Bortle's trailer outside Tucson to buy some electronic goods Bortle had advertised for sale. On July 12, 1987, West returned to the trailer, tied Bortle up, beat him, and stole numerous items. West stole Bortle's car and took the stolen goods to Phoenix, where he intended to sell them. While in Phoenix, West told friends what he had done, and one of his friends called the Pima County Sheriff's Office and told them to check on Bortle. On July 17, 1987, a deputy entered Bortle's trailer and found Bortle his body bound and gagged. Bortle had died from blunt force injuries to his head, and Thomas declined his last meal.
Murderer Charles Rumbaugh's final meal request in 1985 was simple: 1 flour tortilla and water.
Oh, his looked nasty, so I skipped it. Jeffrey Landrigan. On December 15th, 1989, Chester Dean Dyer was found dead in his apartment by a coworker who went to his residence because they were concerned about his failure to appear for work. Mr. Dyer was found face down with an electrical cord at the front of his throat. The victim also had lacerations about his face and puncture wounds in the upper back. The victim's death was determined to have been caused by strangulation. Dyer had called Michael Shaw at work on December 13th, 1989 to let him know he had talked Jeff into coming to his apartment and having sexual relations with Jeff. On December 20th, 1989, the police arrested Langdrigan on unrelated charges, and police later developed numerous items of evidence that tied him to the killing of Dyer. And his final meal was, and he was executed in 2010, steak, fried okra, french fries, a strawberry shake, and Dr. Pepper.
The last one that I have, Carla Faye Tucker, a Texan who was executed in 1998 for killing 2 people in a burglary, requested a fruit plate, but didn't eat it.
I'll end with Thomas Kemp, who was executed in 2012. Several days before this offense, Kemp purchased a .38 semi-automatic handgun and told Jeffrey Logan that he needed money to pay bills and was going to look for someone with money. On July 11th, 1992, Kemp and Logan kidnapped the 25-year-old victim. Kemp used the victim's ATM card to withdraw $200. Kemp and Logan then drove the victim to the Silverbell mine northwest of Tucson, and either Kemp or Logan shot the victim one or more times in the head. His final meal was a bacon cheeseburger, fries, root beer soda, a piece of boysenberry pie with strawberry ice cream. I could sit here and read this website all night.
Right. So this reminded me that I went on. So this is. I'm not one of those girlies who gets into like true crime things because I will sit and obsess over a case.
I have one more.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you what he did because it's long. But his name's Joseph Wood, and he was executed in 2014. His last meal, 2 cookies.
Okay. I will sit and obsess over a case.
Oh, yeah.
For a hot minute.
I'll deep dive on it, and I'll think about it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
And it will screw with my head.
Yeah.
So recently, within the past couple of months, I watched a documentary on Netflix against my better judgment. I don't think I knew that it was going to get as bad as what it did. But it was about the Vallow Daybell Doomsday Murders.
Oh, yeah. Last podcast just started their series on it.
Oh,
I haven't listened to it yet.
Strap in.
I'm ready.
Strap in.
I know like a little bit because they did like side stories updates as the case was like happening.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for their like deep dive on it.
Strap in.
Because
so I won't go to where I was sitting.
Go ahead, because I'm already knowledgeable, so you're not gonna like spoil anything for me.
I was just looking to see, because I remembered after watching it, seeing where the case was at this point. Mm-hmm. And I know that, like, it's coming up.
Yeah.
So I was looking to see if, they had decided that these people were going to be sentenced to death.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, screwed with my head.
Yeah. Screwed
with me so hard. How this woman went from everything's A-okay, like, she was in the first relationship, her oldest child's father. Mm-hmm. That was abusive. She left.
Yeah.
Now, I get that messes with a person's head.
Yeah.
I get it, 100%.
Not that much.
No. So then, she gets with husband number 2, has a daughter. Mm-hmm. Then, gets with husband number 3. Mm-hmm. They adopt a child that was special needs. Mm-hmm. Loses her ever-loving mind.
Yeah.
Starts getting into, like, very cult-like stuff. Mm-hmm. Starts talking to this man that was, like, a religious leader. Mm-hmm. Basically painted himself as God. Mm-hmm. They decided that a lot of these people that they knew were really, like, demons. Mm-hmm. And so they started trying to murder them all.
Yeah.
Murdered her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden she disappears with the 2 youngest children.
Yeah.
Who was like 16 and like, I don't know, it was like 8 or something at the time.
Yeah.
And then like disappears with them.
Yeah.
And then her and this man move to Hawaii or go to Hawaii, get married. The children are nowhere to be found. The oldest child is like, where are my siblings?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Right.
All she keeps saying is, they're safe. They're fine. Mm-hmm. They're safe where they are. They're fine.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, they killed them. Oh, right. I forgot to mention that they killed the newest husband's wife.
Yeah.
But they killed them. Mm-hmm. They killed the 2 children.
Yeah. It's crazy.
When I tell you I was sick, like, for like 2 days about this.
It really, like, demonstrates how we're all capable of that.
Yeah.
And that is terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would hope that I would never do anything like that.
Right.
But, like, I'm telling you, some people are just... way too open for a cult.
Yeah.
and way too suggestible.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem.
See, that reminded me, because I was talking to one of my coworkers about it, and it reminded me, like, I was like, it's so easy for people to find a following of people, a community of people that believe in similar ideals.
Yeah.
And then you bond into this group because of your similar ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh, well, they take it one step further and they see this. And you know what? I kind of can get it.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're in a cult.
Right.
And it's a problem.
Right.
Which reminds me of this time way back in the day when we were still in school and I was going to church every time the doors were open.
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited. Like, this was back at the in the time that, like, we had an allotted amount of time throughout, or I did anyway, that I could be on the internet.
Yeah.
I had, like, I don't know, like 30 minutes a day, so it didn't give me much time to do anything because it was dial-up days.
Right.
But I, like, went to church one night and I was so excited, and I was telling my youth minister, I was like, I've joined a coalition. And he was like, you've what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've joined a coalition.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you mean? He was like, you've got to be careful. What are you talking about? And I was like, it's called Acquire the Fire Coalition. And it was like some kind of youth ministry type thing. I never did anything with it. It was literally like, I typed my name and email address into this website.
And that was the extent of it. Yeah.
And it was like, you're part of the coalition. Look at you. Go you.
Yeah.
But nothing ever came of it.
Right.
And he was like, he was so concerned. He was like, you've got to be careful with that kind of stuff.
I mean, fair.
And I was
understandable.
Like, what did I almost get myself into? Though?
Right. You could have been swayed into a cult.
Bro. I mean,
I could be in a cult right now and not even know it.
Listen.
Me and the Pixie Pops, it's not a cult. But I think the difference is we just try to be good people.
Right.
And that's just what we do. We're not like out here telling each other how to live our lives and that kind of stuff.
I mean, listen. Listen.
That tasted just like Waffle House smells.
I will tell you that I'm not going to say it. I shouldn't say it. Never mind.
But I don't know. I think being raised in a house that taught me to be a leader, not a follower, to be a free thinker and think for myself, don't let other people do it for me, really makes me sit back and look at a cult and be like, y'all are weird.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
So anyway, go make sure that you're checking out our nonprofit of the month, and that was it She's the First?
Yes.
Yes, She's the First, and that will be included in our episode notes. Make sure that you are following us on all the socials like Facebook,
Instagram,
TikTok,
Blue Sky, and YouTube.
Email us at wondersofweird@gmail.com. Okay.
All right. Smell you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.